Hello gang, it's another week. It's Monday the 17th of June 2019. Welcome along to this morning's United Kingdom talk, coming to you from Bracknell in Royal Berkshire. And looks, what's it like today? The sun's not quite out. It's a bit overcast this morning. Oh, where's my notes gone? What the devil have I done with those? How strange and mysterious. Now, what did I do? I had them written down. Then I got my counts thing out. Okay. Let's put that... Have I put it in there, have I? I've lost my notes. They were sitting here in front of me a moment ago. Just one moment, please, caller. Oh, here they are. Oh, thank the Lord for that. Imagine that. I do a little bit of work before I come on, you know. I just turn it on and start talking like a robot, dear. Like some of them do, you know, sitting there waiting for messages. We do more than that here. I told you that, love. You can do, if you want to do that, that's fine by me. We do a little bit more than that. Just reading messages. Thank you for your messages this morning. Already pouring into the studios of United Kingdom Talk from Michael Pullman. First one on the Facebook Live this morning. Good morning, Michael. I had a bit of a trouble with Facebook yesterday, actually. Wasn't on the computer, it was on my phone. I couldn't bring up my own profile. Well, I mean, you could get, you know, the bit at the top which says friends, about me and that, but posts, I couldn't see any of the posts. I kept getting this error message up, but it seems to be working this morning. Is that working now? Yeah, that's working now. Did anyone else have an issue with their Facebook thing yesterday? Very strange and mysterious, that's what it is. Good morning to Mr. Ray Reynolds, who's going to be along at the karaoke later. Are you bringing the ukulele tonight, Ray? Oh, we had someone... Was it last Friday? They bought one of those things, you know. Oh, what are they called now? You used to be able to make a cheap version of it with a comb and a piece of greaseproof paper. Did you do that? Make your own instruments. Oh, yes. But is it a bazooka? Is it a bazooka? No, harmonica. That's it, a harmonica. They had a harmonica. That's what they had, a harmonica. On Friday night. They were very good, actually. Very good indeed. Good morning to Claire over on the YouTube. Morning, Claire, who says, I hope the Lincolnshire television studio complex is not underwater. Hopefully you are far away from the river. Well, of course, I'm not there at the moment, but yes, that is actually quite a long distance away from me. By car, travelling at warp factor 7, it would be about 40 to 45 minutes. So not massively far, I suppose, when you think about it. But yeah, it is quite far away from the... from my caravan up north. That's not to say we weren't short of a bit of water. There were actually puddles, you know, puddles, I say puddles like that would have been too deep for you to walk in without getting wet tootsie feet. And we don't want wet tootsie feet. And if you get wet tootsie feet, you must dry them. You don't want to get foot rot. Oh yeah, you be very careful, Claire. If your feet get wet, you take them, you get home as quickly as possible, and you take your little leather... She wears those leather thigh-length boots, Claire. Oh, yes, don't you? I know you do, my love. Don't you tell me. And the fishnet stockings, don't you? I mean, I wear them myself sometimes, Claire. Only for myself, you know, only for private purposes. I wouldn't wear them out. I might wear them out at some point. You never know. You may go to the karaoke one day and think, who is that gorgeous woman standing there? And it'll be me in women's outfits. Would you like me to do that one week? It's something I think I've done it twice in my entire life, and someone else had to dress me because I wouldn't have a clue what I was doing. Yeah, with me being like a proper bloke and all that. Do you see what I mean? Pardon? I wouldn't have a clue what I was doing. But you make sure, Claire, if you get wet tootsie feet, you take them home and dry them immediately. Otherwise, you get foot rot. And the next time you're going down Tesco, I beg your pardon, Claire. Sorry, posh lady. The next time you're going down Waitrose and Marks and Spencer's to do your weekly shopping, you could be just walking around there and your feet will literally just drop off. Very difficult to walk around with no feet, dear. Very difficult indeed. Be careful, Claire. Morning to Ian Days. He's on the YouTube as well. Morning, Ian. Hello to Mr. Mike Rees-Pondo. It's a fine Monday morning. Yes, indeed. Michael Lawrence in the house. Paul Mosley, hello. Paul and Lou couldn't get on YouTube this morning. How strange. There you are. Oh, he's in now. Yeah, how very worrying. We do appear to be now only on one stream on the YouTube. It was 2 streams at some point for a long time. Now I can only see us on 1 stream on the YouTube. I don't know why that is, and quite frankly, I don't know how to fix it either. Okay, so one of those things, I'm afraid. Morning to Maureen, joining us on the text-in service there. Good morning, Maureen. Claire says, please don't do drag. I know, Claire. It will ruin your thoughts about me, won't it, Claire? I know. I've never felt comfortable in women's clothes, not even as a child. You know when we all used to dress up in our mum and dad's clothes? Yes, I always used to dress up in my mum's clothes. In fact, baby James, who's my niece's little boy, was trying on his sister's clothes the other day, and he's there in a little blue dress, bless his heart. Hello to Michael Lawrence, kazoo. Thank you, Ray Reynolds. The kazoo. That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, that's the old thing that you make up with there. That you make the things on there. Let's have a look. Good. Okay. Well, yesterday was interesting. At church, there was no organ. I kind of got there a little bit late yesterday. That's because you kept me here. You kept me here talking yesterday. I got a little bit late. Not late, but later than I like to be there. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I sat down and I'm looking back. There's no one up at the organ. I thought, who is it today? Oh, there's no one up there. And then this group of people came in from the Cameroon. From the African Cameroon, okay? And all these women, lots more women than men, but nevertheless, they came in and brought these 2 bongo drums in, and apparently the church is somehow attached to this little church in the Cameroon. Oh my God, they had the most beautiful dresses on, all blue and yellow. I think it was St. Mary the Virgin or something like, I can't remember what it said on there, but they all had the same... it was like a uniform, really, I suppose. All had the same outfits on. Beautiful, vibrant colours. I do like that, I must say. When I've been to Barbados, I've been very lucky to go in lovely places in the world, really. Barbados and St Lucia. I've been for long holidays, like 2 weeks at a time. And certainly on a Sunday, you go past the churches and there's all these women going in the most beautiful, brightly coloured dresses and things. Nothing hanging out. Not like the English lot. You know, not like the English girls on a Saturday night out with all the flesh hanging out all over the place. It's just ghastly. Breasts everywhere. These are respectfully dressed people. And this large group of people came in their coloured... And they all had the same stuff. And it was a mainly blue colour. And come and sat down on the bench opposite. There's like 2 lots of chairs, you know, 1 lot on the left, 1 lot on the... Not pews, they're called pews, aren't they? Long wooden benches. They come and took up 1, 2, 3 rows on the right-hand side. There was a lot of them. And the music didn't start. They literally just sang with drums, which sounded very nice. It did sound very nice, and it did sound like African music, some of it, you know, oh, no, like that. I thought it was fantastic. I must admit, I'm not keen on a cappella. You know, that is singing without instruments, whether it's a guitar, a piano, an organ, some violins. I do like to have a little bit of music behind it. So for me, not a great, fantastic experience. That's not to say it wasn't good. That's only my personal preference, because they were very good and they were all singing in tune and harmonising. And then they did that dance. You know, like when you see the not carol singers, African singers. When you see the African choir, what's that called? A choir? Gospel choirs. Gospel choirs. When you see the gospel choirs on the television and they're all dancing like that, you know, I don't know, Hail Queen of Heaven. And they dance like that. And they were doing that in the pews. I love it. I absolutely loved it. And it was very, very good indeed. Something that I didn't expect. We just literally walked in there. So he's doing some different things with the 11 o'clock mass at the moment at the church. Another week, once every few weeks, he now has a youth mass as well. And that involves lots of young people. There's a lad who plays the piano and another group of people who sings. I must say, sometimes the piano player is completely in a different key to the singers, but nevertheless, it's the point of doing it, you see. It's like going to a talent show. You go to a talent show and you know someone, maybe they can't, or even a karaoke show, or even a karaoke, and there's someone on the stage and they can't sing a note. Okay, but it's there. You still can appreciate the fact that they've gone to so much effort to come up and sing and do the thing. I still appreciate that, you see. Still appreciate that. So that was interesting yesterday. After that, I did take the car, as you suggested yesterday, because we did have rain forecast yesterday morning. Did it rain? No, of course it didn't. No, if I'm going to take the car, it won't rain. If it says it's going to rain and going to pour down thunder and lightning, if I then say, well, I'll take the car instead of the bike, it won't rain. And it didn't rain. If I had taken the bike, I would have got a soaking. You know that. So I didn't take the car yesterday. So that was nice. Came back here, had some lunch. And then I did a bit of gardening yesterday. Cut the grass. It does look nice outside. Last week, I think it was last week on Monday, I got that stuff. You know that stuff that you pour on the grass to kill the weeds and make it grow more. I think it's called Feed and Weed or something like that. And it was a make, like Garden Mate or something like that. And literally, you pull out this thing. It's like self-spreading little lever that you pull out like that with a ball on top. And then you tip the thing upside down and the ball makes it spread. And you literally walk up and down the lawn like that. And then you must do it, and hopefully it will rain afterwards, which indeed, as you well know, it did last week. And you get a smell of like metal. It's like a metally smell, like aluminium or something like that when it gets wet, which is not particularly unpleasant, but you know it's got wet and it's doing its job. So that was last Monday. Of course, then I was away. That you're not really supposed to walk in it after you've done that. Then I was away Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I come back Saturday morning. And there were little areas that were now black where it's killed all the weeds and moss. And it's looking, and I cut it yesterday for the first time after that. You're not supposed to cut it within a couple of days, I think, and then you can cut it. So I cut it, and you mustn't use the clippings in mulch or whatever you call it, when you spread that stuff over. Or in the recycling plant thing. What's that called? Oh, you know where you put dead plants and things in this like pot, big pot thing outside, and you leave it for a few weeks or months, and then you get compost. You're not supposed to use it for compost making. So I cut the grass, and it looks ever so nice outside at the moment. I'm really pleased with that. Did a bit of weeding. I got some brambles coming through outside around my fence. You never get close to my fence. I can't paint the outside of my fence now because there's just brambles crawling all over it, and I have to go around and pull them out when they come through the bottom of the fence, you see. So I did that. Pulled up a load of ferns. I do get ferns, a lot of ferns growing wild in my garden, which look nice. But the trouble is, of course, when they grow up so big and the big leaves come over, and it's shielding all the other plants from the sunshine. So I pulled a few of those up, and that's looking nice. Then I watched a programme on the telly. It's on Sky at the moment, but I don't have Sky, so I've managed to find it on a thing called, someone told me to type in Put Locker. Now, you remember I mentioned this the other day. Putlocker. Put Locker. And you bring up this thing and you type in the programme that you want. And some of them are on there, apparently, according to someone who told me. And some aren't. So I typed in Chernobyl onto the Put Locker, and it was there. And I watched a couple of those. What an excellent programme. Also, of course, available on Sky. But if you've not got Sky, you'll have to type it into, I think it's Put Locker. I think there's some other services provide it as well. 123 Movies, I think, is maybe the other one it's called. So you type that in, and I was watching it, and it's all about, of course, the terrible nuclear disaster at Chernobyl in Russia in 1986, 85 or 86. And, of course, I remember that. I was around at the time, and the world was terribly worried, especially us here in the United Kingdom and indeed Europe, where all this radioactive stuff was literally just blowing across all the countries. Absolutely frightening. And so far I've watched 4 episodes of that now, and I absolutely love it. One of my friends, Dawn, her name is, Dawn Thorpe, she was saying she's tried now to watch the first episode twice and fell asleep. I mean... I don't find it boring at all. I think it's absolutely fascinating. Of course, I don't know how true to life that programme is. Because you have to remember when they make that sort of thing, it's not a documentary. It's a film about something that happened. So they can add bits in it and take it away. Some of the blistering that you see on some of the actors, of course, it's makeup on there. It's makeup. But the blistering is just horrific. You've never seen blistering to the point of not being able to recognise the person under the blistering. It's awful. And all those people gave their lives to save millions of others by going in there, removing graphite, which had exploded. And they're like all these scientists are talking and said, well, how did it explode? And they're saying, well, this was done, this was done. Yeah, but it can't explode. It's not possible for it to explode, they were all saying. But it did, and they can't work out why it exploded. So I'm up to episode 4 of that now. It's really good and highly recommended. Okay, Chernobyl. It just makes you think. And I've always said, I've never been happy with all this nuclear stuff that we've got. And of course, we've got nuclear power stations being built at the moment by, happens to be the Chinese. Doesn't matter who is building them. Could be anyone. If we were building our own nuclear reactors, I wouldn't be happy. Why we have to go down this route, I don't know. When there's perfectly good wind blowing everywhere, the sun comes out and all that. You need a combination of all these different renewable sources that don't pollute the environment and certainly don't explode and put millions and millions of people under the smoke and all that pours out of these things when they get when they go wrong. On that Chernobyl program, literally they were all saying, this cannot happen. But it did, and they can't work out why this damn thing exploded. Graphite apparently surrounded the core or something. I'm not a scientist, so I don't know exactly. But watching that programme, highly recommended if you get a chance to watch that TV series, okay? Chernobyl. Just got a text coming in there. Just a second, my darlings. Let's have a look. Oh, it's happy 76th birthday today to Barry Manilow. Steve Allen mentioned it on his radio show. Oh, I didn't know you watched Steve Allen. I didn't know you listened to Steve Allen on the radio, Maureen. He's very good, isn't he? He's my top talk show host, Steve Allen. Love him to bits. Let's just go to some of your back to your messages there over on Facebook Live. You as a gorgeous woman, more like an old slapper. I beg your pardon, Mike. An old slapper, me, dear. Chance would be a fine thing. Don't even get the offers, dear. Good morning to LaBelle. Your emerald-eyed love machine is here once again in the morning. Whenever I can be. Don't forget, we don't do a scheduled show here. They appear as and when. Usually 9:30 each morning. Sometimes you won't always get one. Just depends how busy I am. Saturday is very iffy. Saturday often won't get one on a Saturday because I'm just doing stuff and what have you. All right. Hello to Adam the plumber. Good morning to you. Respectfully breast people. Respectfully breast people. Hello to Ray Belasco. Hello, Ray. I know you haven't been very well for a while, have you, Ray? Ray's a very, very dear friend of mine. He used to come into the Black Cap and he comes along to Central Station to the karaoke now and again. And how's it going now? Don't you doing Tragedy by Steps on another couple of hours? Morning, Ray. Good morning to Mr. Lee Mills, who's been sharing the video this morning, sharing his love to everyone, as always. Ray says, how do you look so young? I don't know. Swimming, I think. I think it's the swimming, Ray. I'm 56 now, as you know, but I certainly don't put anything on my face or anything like that. Michael, how's Ronnie doing? He's not doing too bad. Not doing too bad at all at the moment, Michael. Thank you for asking. Ray says, do you ever relax? Yes, Ray, of course I do. I mean, you don't see me here all the time, do you? No, I watch a lot of television now, especially when I'm up at the caravan. I've got back into the television. I used to watch the television a lot as a teenager. Literally used to come home from school, sit in front of the telly. I might go out on my bike with my friend Peter Watts. And we used to watch an awful lot of telly when I was a child. And then in my 20s, 30s and 40s, hardly watched any at all.
Funny, isn't it, really? Was just working all the time or going out or something like that. And since I cut back on my work about just over a year and a half ago now, since I cut back on my work, I've got back into the telly, and there's a lot of stuff on there at the moment that I do enjoy. At the moment, I've got last night's Gentleman Jack to watch, which I'm really enjoying, and of course Killing Eve from Saturday night on BBC One Colour. I've watched Casualty already, so lots to watch on my digital recording thing. Do you know we don't need those anymore, do we, really? Recorders of any sort, really. You don't, do you? You know, well, we had videotape recorders. Now we've got the hard drive recorders. But I find myself recording stuff on the hard drive. But of course, if I'm at the caravan, I don't have one of those there. I just watch it on the iPlayer or the Netflix. You don't need a hard drive anymore, do you? You just don't need one of those recording devices. Just stream everything. You know, if it's on BBC One, then it's likely to be on the BBC iPlayer. I mean, some of it's like time limited, isn't it? I've got to find out, apparently it's quite easy to do, how to download programs like on the BBC iPlayer, possibly Netflix as well, onto my mini iPad thing that I've got, because next time I go to Cyprus, there's no televisions on the plane going to Cyprus. There's no video screens or anything. And it's incredibly boring. 4.5 hours sitting there doing nothing. I mean, you can try and sleep, not particularly comfortable on those short haul flights, not even in the business class seats. But I want to like download some stuff onto the iPad so that I can sit there. I noticed some people bought their laptops, iPads, they kind of hung them over or put them on a little table and watched whole films. And you'd only need to watch like 2 films and you'd almost be there, you know. Include that with put your meal in there as well. Well, the whole meal service on a plane takes about an hour or so, doesn't it? My sister won't have had a meal on a plane. She's actually, I think she's probably back home now. She came back. She's been visiting my niece in Cyprus. She came back yesterday. I think the plane was delayed by about half an hour, 45 minutes. And I don't think she got into Gatwick till about 2:30 in the morning. And she wouldn't have had a meal. Not on an EasyJet plane, dear. No. You might have been able to buy a sandwich and a cup of tea for about 10 quid. That's about all. No, I don't think so. So hopefully she's home now. I haven't heard from her yet. But I think, if I remember rightly, I checked the arrivals at Gatwick and her plane didn't look like it was going to get in till 2:30 in the morning, which is incredibly late because then they've got a 3.5 hour drive from there. And I did say to her, if you want to stay at mine, that's perfectly all right. You know, you and Martin stay at mine, no problem at all. But I don't think she did. She didn't contact me, so presumably she was all right driving home. But they wouldn't have got home till, let's see, 2:30 at the airport, 3, 4, 5. They wouldn't have got home till about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. That's hard going, isn't it? That is hard going. Thank you, Tommy. Tommy says I'm looking smart this morning. Thank you, Tommy. I do try to make an effort. I'm not very good at making myself look smart. Sometimes it kind of works, as Claire will tell you. Claire is a fan of the red and the black, brown, sort of the red and the blue together, aren't you, Claire? I know Claire's a fan of red and blue together. So there we are. Paul and Lou, I think you'd be a pig in lipstick. Do you think so? Do I need to have my lips done? Shall I have that stuff pumped into my lips? Look really stupid like a lot of the ladies do now. With those lips like, oh look, I look, hello. What? I wouldn't be able to talk, would I? Hello, and welcome to this morning show. With the old fish lips. Morning to Joanna. Good morning, Joanna. Welcome to the show, darling. David Butler in the house. Morning, Dave. He's in a lovely part of the country, Louth. That's really nice. Driving through there, the countryside of Lincolnshire around that area is very, very nice, I have to say. Really nice. Paul and Lou says, apparently iPlayer are going to offer all programmes from 30 days to a year. Well, all programmes that are now 30 days are going to a year. Is that what you're saying there? Or are all programmes going to be from 30 days? So all programmes are going to be available on there for a year, are they? Oh, well, you definitely won't need a hard disk recorder after that, will you? I think this is the second one I've got downstairs. The first one failed after about 5 or 6 years. I think when that one fails, I don't think I'll bother getting another recording device for the television. You just stream it. You just stream it all, don't you? on the Netflix or the or BBC One Colour. Thank you, Ian. It is BBC One Colour. You know it is, Ian. That's how we know it. You're watching BBC One Colour. Yeah, that's how it was when I'm a child, and that's how it still is now. Thank you very much, Ian. Ray Reynolds. I'm a bit like Steve Allen in that I have a huge collection of DVDs and prefer to keep archived programmes, music and entertainment recordings on disc. Well, yeah, so was I, Ray. So was I. From a very early age, actually, from when I was a teenager, I spent £500 when I was 20 or 21 on a video recorder, Betamax video recorder, which wasn't particularly good. But nevertheless, I started recording loads and loads of stuff. And I had boxes of VHS cassettes, right? And I kept them, and I kept them, and they ended up here, in those same boxes in the loft. And then one day I thought, these are never ever going to come out of these boxes. They never did. Once they were recorded, they went back in a little jacket and went in a box. And I got another tape out and recorded something else. They were never, ever going to get watched. And I literally dumped the lot. Dumped the lot. Do I miss them? No, not at all. Not at all. DVDs, I stopped buying those years ago because I found, once again, I would buy DVDs and then they'd go on the shelf. Right, I'll watch that at some point. Never watched them. I've got a beautiful box set of Dad's Army that my sister gave me one Christmas, about 8 Christmases ago. They're still in the cellophane wrapper. So I've stopped completely buying this stuff now because it just never ever get watched. I never ever go to my collection of DVDs, which is very small now because, again, I got rid of a load of those. I gave some away, chucked some away, because they just sat on the shelf or in a cupboard. They were never getting watched. Sometimes I might go up there. Oh, shall I watch? Oh, I can't be bothered. No, I'll put something on the telly. They never got watched, you know. So I don't bother recording. Well, I've got nothing to permanently keep a recording on now when it comes to DVD and all. You just don't need it anymore, Ray. You just put on YouTube. Everything is on YouTube. There's some stuff that I would like that isn't on YouTube. I would like a clean copy that's without applause of the theme musics to Bob's Full House and Every Second Counts. And they were written by John Meal. John Meal, I think that's his name. John Meal, who I managed to get his phone number off a very good friend of mine, John Springate. You may remember John. He was in the Glitter Band. And I managed to get John's, I think it was John Meal or Rob Meal, something like that. Managed to get his phone number. And I rang him up and asked him for, I said, it's a bit cheeky, but is there any chance? And he said to me, if I had them, you could still have them. But apparently he moved once from one place to another, and he lost a load of audio recordings in the process, so he didn't have them anymore. The only other place that you might find them at would be the BBC themselves, and they wouldn't give it to you. It's pointless even asking. I suppose it might. Do you think it's worth asking? I can't see them ever giving something away like that. They don't give anything away, the BBC, do they? Hey? So that's why I don't bother keeping recordings anymore, Ray, or anything like that. Of course, Bob Monkhouse kept recordings. He was one of those people who literally taped everything that was on the television. And he had, I think he had an extension built, which was all videotapes in this extension, which is great. If you've got the space. I just had a loft full of DVDs and CDs and VHS recordings, and I chucked them all away. Some years, quite a long time ago, it must have been about 8 to 10 years ago now, and I've never missed them. I've never thought, I'd love now to go upstairs and get out my DVDs of. No, hasn't bothered me in the slightest. Happy to have the room back, to be honest. Claire loves all the jackets, especially the pineapples on the birds. Oh, I'll wear that tomorrow. I'll wear that tomorrow for you, Claire, all right, love? Yes, hello to Whatsits. Welcome along to Whatsits. It's only a recording. It's only a recording if the time is not right behind you. It's that side, isn't it? Is the time correct? That's the UK time at the moment. If that's the UK time and the date at the moment where you are, then you are watching live. If it's a recording, you are not watching live. Okay, it'll be a different time. Yes, Paul and Lou, BBC iPlayer can show programmes for a year instead of 30 days. Ofcom approves change after corporation says it's struggling to compete with Netflix, which indeed they are. Now, there is a lot of good stuff on Netflix. Similarly, there's an awful lot of badly made programs on Netflix I've discovered as well. Me and my mate have sat there sometimes and we've got a film up, watched 20 minutes and went, stick with it a bit longer, watched a bit longer and eventually just stopped, not completing the film. There's an awful lot of rubbish on there as well. Let's be honest, the BBC makes some very, very good stuff. Very, very good stuff, they do. I'm not a massive BBC fan. I used to be as a child. I find them now completely, totally and utterly going over the top with the political correctness. For example, putting gay characters in Doctor Who just for the sake of it. It's not part of the story, really. They just put one in, let's keep this politically correct and have a gay character or something like that in just for the sake of it. Whereas programmes like Gentleman Jack, of course, that's a gay character in there, a lesbian woman, and she is part of that story. That story doesn't exist without her in it. So I get that, that's fine. But when they start throwing in characters here, there and everywhere just for the sake of it, just for the sake of diversity, that to me is just stupid. Gets on my nerves. So I'm not a massive fan of the BBC anymore at all. Mike says they should scrap the TV licence and make it a subscription service. Yes and no to that one. Yes, because that would be fairer. No, because I think you'd lose a lot of the very expensive to make programmes that no one else can do. I really do believe that. I think you would lose. Certainly, when you have a look at the ITV news output now and compare that to the BBC News Channel or any of the local bulletins, London News, Anglia News and all that, I think the BBC wipes the floor with everyone else when it comes to news gathering. To make money from news. I don't think Sky News makes any money, doesn't it? Doesn't that run at a loss? Does that run at a loss, Sky News? I think it does, and you see, so there's 6 of one and a half dozen of the other there. Good morning to JP. JP is in the house. LaBelle thought all the characters in Doctor Who were gay. You could be fooled for thinking otherwise. I tell you that, LaBelle. Khalid says, you guys have to buy a TV licence. Yes, we always have done. We always have done. £154.50 at the moment. Good morning to Bob. Bob Lockie Lock. Morning, Bob. Get Cody. I don't have Cody. I know about Cody. One of my cousin-in-laws has got Cody, but I've not used it myself. I don't have that myself. Bob says the only media I keep now is vinyl records. Well, even those, Bob. Good morning to you, Bob, by the way. Even those, I got rid of all those, Bob. They were I had them all in a shed. This shed was just completely full up with vinyl. And again, at some point, I took them out and I MP3'd. I don't know if that's the correct term. I computerized, I digitalized the ones that I wanted to digitalize. And then they all went back in the shed for some years. And then one day I thought I wanted to get rid of the shed and give myself a bigger garden. So I literally dumped the lot, dumped them all. And they're not worth anything. They're really not. If you was a DJ and you've got loads of old records, then they will be scratched to bits. They would have been used and used and used, and mine were like that. And I literally dumped the lot. I just didn't need them anymore. You may be one of those people that think that's completely and utterly criminal. Do I miss them? I don't really miss them. No, I don't miss them at all. Morning to Weird City Citizen joining us on the programme today. Bob Lockie says BBC News is propaganda. Now, that's interesting you say that, Bob. I personally think it is as well. Yes, I think it's very left-wing biased. However, I've got several friends who are very left-wing, okay? And they would say to you that they think the BBC News is right-wing biased. So it's very interesting how that occurs like that, isn't it? So I think that's one way, because I'm kind of centre-right. I'm about there. Okay. I'm not there. I'm there like that. No, I'm about there. Okay. One of my mates is about that way towards the left, and he thinks it's very right wing biased. I think it's left wing biased. I really do. So it's interesting how we do perceive things in different ways, isn't it? Ray watched an old DVD last night of David Suchet on Sid Field from 2011. I don't know Sid Field. He was a forgotten comedian who died of a heart attack. 45, that's young, isn't it? Gosh, he was one of the first comics to have a camp character. A camp character. Yeah. Paul and Lou thinks we should have a gay prime minister. It makes no difference. You see, that's where we do the whole pointing out what's different about someone, isn't it? You know, I think Iceland, if I remember rightly, Iceland have a gay prime minister? You know, but what I just don't understand why we have to have a gay prime minister, a black president, a woman priest. Why aren't they just a prime minister, or just a president, or just a priest? Oh, we're just going to see Father Jane today. Oh, right, okay. Not we're just going to see the female priest, Father Jane, or we're not going to see the black president, President Obama. No, we are going to see the president. Do you see what I mean? No. For me personally, not necessary to point out what's different about that one, or that one. To me, that is just a president or just a prime minister. But that's only me. Bob loves his vinyl. I don't think you can beat the warm sound of playing a record. You're absolutely right, Bob. You are absolutely right. There is something very special about opening a sleeve, especially if it's new, Bob. Do you remember the smell of a new record? Oh, as it came out the sleeve, sometimes also encased in a bit of plastic as well. And you used to slit that plastic open with your fingernail, wouldn't you? And I used to do that. Have I got one here? Yeah, I've got one here somewhere. I must have a record here. Anyway, it's an old record. Now, don't laugh. Don't laugh, okay? Don't laugh. Some of my best friends are songs. Oh, it's Val. Anyway, this would be covered in a cellophane, and you get your nail like that, and then I'd do this. Oh, and that smell of the brand new record. And I would buy 12-inch singles, certainly in the 1980s, and I'd have a stack of these 12-inch singles, each one covered in a vinyl, and each one I'd do that and go... And you'd only get that smell a few times, and then it would start smelling of whatever atmosphere you'd kept it in. In those days, of course, smoky pubs. All my records stunk of smoke. They absolutely stunk. They really did. Let's have a look here. Everard May. LaBelle says vinyl records are back here in America. They are here as well. You can get vinyl records again. People selling record players and all that, but they do. To me, they do sound better. That might be because I was brought up with records and that sort of thing. I don't know. Weird City. Chris wants a millennial prime minister. That would sort things out. No, we do not want a millennial as a prime minister. No, they are more trouble than they're worth. They really are. We do not want a millennial prime minister. They'd just be offended by everything, wouldn't they? Oh, little snowflakes melting away, they do. Ireland has a gay prime minister. Is that right? Leo Vara. Is that an Irish name? That looks more like Russian to me, doesn't it, you? Leo? Is he really called... Is it a he or a she? Leo? Was it on Friday night, someone called, I can't remember, either Jack or something like that. Jack to the station. This girl came up. I said, I'm waiting for Jack. Yeah, that's me. Oh, right, okay. Yeah. They had a boy's... Michael, that was it. It was called Michael. Michael is a girl's name as well. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Bob, the first time you put it on the deck, you just don't get it with MP3. No, you're absolutely right, Bob. I was a DJ for 30-odd years, right? And one of the mistakes I made was moving over to MP3s. Absolutely. Okay, so we went from records to CDs. That wasn't too bad, okay? But then we went to MP3s. The trouble is with MP3s, everything's in a list alphabetically, right? So when you're DJing, if you DJ the same way I did, we all do it differently. Some DJs have a set of records, which they've already worked out. They're going to play it in that order at that time, and that they walk in with a set of records and they play them. the way I worked was I would play to the crowd. So I could be almost at the end of a record, right? Proper vinyl record, and we'd be playing away like that. And I got the next record ready that I'd chosen, okay, just a few minutes ago. I'd get to the end of the record, and all of a sudden, I'd change my mind. No, actually, no, I think that's the wrong one. We'll have this one. And literally, that one would be running out, and you quickly change the next one on there, put line it up, and oh, just in time, bang. And it'd be on. With MP3s, you couldn't do that, and you'd be flicking through this record. Oh yeah, I remember that one. Pictures of the records. So flick. Ah, that one. Yeah, so easy. I'll flick it backwards again. That one like that. Similar with CDs, not quite the same, but similar with CDs again. If you kept them in their little things, and then you flick. Oh yeah, that one I do. MP3s, no. Much more boring. The DJing job for me became very boring when I went over to MP3s, and I was one of the first people to do that. I thought I'd better keep up with the technology, and I MP3'd all my stuff and started turning up with a laptop. It became really boring. Sitting there, drag, drop, done. Drag, drop, done. Now, there was, I didn't use it, but there was also software that could automatically beat match. So you wouldn't have to line records up, but it didn't always work very well. I don't know what it's probably vastly improved now, but it didn't always work very well. So I never used it. I used to do it manually, with a mouse, click, 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 until the record was lined up correctly and all that. But it became incredibly boring. But once you've moved over to the next format, you can't go backwards again. And that's when the job kind of died a bit for me. I just wasn't into it anymore. Good morning to Dr. SOS Gregory. Morning. And hello to Aspid13, who's on Vaughan Live this morning. Good morning, Vaughan Live viewers. LaBelle, the reason to have a female or gay or black is because in past history there aren't. The point is to make that normal. We have a black president before Obama was unheard of. To have a black president before Obama was unheard of. I don't think I could be a president I don't think I could be a president roll him. It's about representation. I think you'd be a good president, LaBelle. Yes! LaBelle needs to be the new president of the USA. I'm going to put your name forward. Was I VHS or Betamax? I had Betamax. Yeah, we had Betamax, all right? All right. Okay, let's carry on with this story. So I had a pizza last night after I had a little sleep in the afternoon, of course. Then I went up for a swim at the swimming pool. I had no energy at all until I'd finished my swim last night. I walked up there I'm not really into this today, but I got into the swimming pool. I had a complete lane free to myself for the whole time I was up there, and I felt so wonderful afterwards. Then I walked up to my mate's house, Ronnie's house, and they were having dinner. He was supposed to come back in. I said, I'll have my dinner later. I said, no, you have your dinner now. I'll order a pizza or something. So I got a pizza from Domino's. 20 quid, dear. 20 quid for a pizza. Jesus Christ. 20 quid. But it did get free garlic bread, so that was quite nice. I didn't have a large. No, I had a medium pizza with the barbecue sauce. Have you had the Domino's pizzas with the barbecue sauce? Oh, yes. Very, very nice. Barbecue sauce pizza. And his cats were being incredibly friendly towards me last. Well, they're always friendly. They never attacked me. But one of them, she's very... her name is Lauren, his cat. It's a tabby cat. And she'll let you stroke her once and then she just walks off. Last night, she was all over me last night. Usually, wherever my mate is, she jumps on his lap. Not last night. No, she wanted to come and sit with me last night. I do love a cat. Don't have too many in one go because you'll feel sick afterwards. So. All right. So that was nice. The cats. He dropped me home. I watched another episode of Chernobyl. As I say, I've watched 4 episodes now. Highly recommended. Then I went to bed. I didn't sleep well at all last night. Maybe it was the pizza. I don't know. I certainly started getting an acid reflux problem last night, and I hate that. And that's due to bread. Pizza, bread, See, same sort of thing. So I had to have some Galveston, and in fact, I did fall asleep quite quickly, but I woke up again about 3 o'clock, and the acid started, so I got up and had some more Galveston and went back to bed. I had trouble sleeping. I got quite hot in bed, whether it was hot outside or not, I don't know, but. Last week I changed my duvet back to the autumn one from the summer one because of course it got a bit cold, and I think I might have to change it back again today because it's got warm again, isn't it? So I didn't have a good sleep at all last night. And that was it. I'm meeting a friend today. Should be about 1 o'clock, hopefully. A dear friend of mine who I only see once a week now. His name's Richard. And I used to work with him in the Black Cap in Camden, and we've remained friends ever since. I was saying a few times now, you know, I find it quite sad how you can be at a place for so many years and yet I can only count a couple of people, actually, who I'm still in contact with who used to come to that pub. Funny, isn't it? I don't understand that at all. And, like, I find myself over the years making effort calling people constantly calling people all the time, you know, and nothing comes back the other way. And eventually I just get fed up with it and I don't bother ringing anymore. You know, you probably may have had the same thing with people. You know, when you're constantly making the effort all the time. We've spoken about this many, many times on our little show. When you're constantly making the effort all the time, you ring people all the time, calling. And then nothing comes back the other way and think, oh, why am I even bothering with this? So I don't. I give up eventually. You know. It's over, and all these people that, I'm really sorry I didn't return your call. You know, I've been really busy, this, that, and the other. These are supposed to be friends. People that you thought were really good friends, and they just never call. What's the point? LaBelle. Oh, dear God. I would never wish a presidency on my worst enemy. No, I wouldn't want to be a leader of anything. Look what poor old Theresa May went through. Oh, my God. It was awful. Awful watching that. Dr. SOS Gregorian, what's your favourite pizza? Oh, really basic for me. Really basic. Margarita with pineapple on top. Maybe also some onions and some green and red peppers. Very, very basic, my pizzas. Where do you buy your pizza from? Domino's or Pizza Hut? Domino's I prefer. I like the barbecue sauce. I love the barbecue sauce. Probably about 1 million calories I had yesterday. Domino's sometimes undercook my pizzas, then the next time I message them. No, I can't honestly say I've ever had an undercooked one. It came within half an hour. It's good, isn't it? Half an hour. That's it. Ray, £20 for a pizza. I've just had two slices of toast, butter and Marmite. Marmite and butter? What, on the same thing? Is that a thing? I thought you had Marmite or butter. Are you pregnant, Ray? Have you got one of those things where you have to keep eating a certain thing? What's that? Weird cities are very disheartening when it's all one-way traffic. Yes, it is weird. It is awfully disheartening when it's one-way traffic, but eventually you just give up. You give up in the end. And funnily enough, last night on the way to the swimming pool, I thought I'm going to delete a load of phone numbers from my phone today, and I did. On the way to the swimming pool, I took about 20 numbers off. These are, you know, people that never ever ring, that I might have spent time ringing over the years. Yeah, just a waste of time, you know. If they don't want to ring, they don't want to ring. That's it. But I'm certainly not going to call anymore. That's the end of it. Paul and Lou, pineapple on a pizza is just wrong. Yeah, it's funny you should say that. Some people do say that. Pineapple on a pizza is wrong. But you get that sweet and sour taste, don't you? Which is very, very nice. Oh, pineapple on pizza. What is your favourite pizza, boys and girls? What do you have on your pizzas? Let me know now. Okay? I want to know what you got on your pizzas. I'm not going up to the caravan this week, as you well know, because I'm meeting a friend today. And tomorrow, I've got a little job tomorrow night. I'm actually doing it as a favour. Unpaid job tomorrow over at Central Station for the Drag Idol semi-final, which should go down very well. I wonder if they'll allow me to stream that. The only thing is there might be rude words and things. Would you like to see Drag Idol? Drag Idol, it's like it's people that want to become drag queens, young and old.
and they come and do, and it's a competition that's run every year, and it's the national semi-finals tomorrow. Do you know, I might just do that. I might see if I can set up a camera and show Drag Idol for you tomorrow night, wherever you are in the world, all right? And we'll see how we get on with that one. Favourite pizzas? Dr. SRO, he likes dead animal pizza, don't you, Mr. Gregorian? Dead animal pizza, which is meat. Dead animal pizza. Claire, pepperoni and anchovies. What, the same thing? Oh, no. No. Pepperoni and anchovies, not for me, I'm afraid. Nice bit of a margarita on there, I think. Now, do be careful if you're buying stuff at auction. Oh, Dr. SOS Gregorian, my mum loves Domino's Pepperoni Passion. You should ask sponsors to sponsor your show. Every day a different sponsor. No one's going to sponsor this rubbish. Who's going to pay to watch this? Answer, no one. Barbecue pizza, Michael Lawrence. That sounds quite nice. Barbecue pizza. Yes. Paul and Lou, margarita for me. Very boring. Tomato and cheese. Not necessarily, no. Not necessarily boring. I quite fancy a margarita. They used to do very good pizzas actually in Aldi. They were like 3 in a box for like £4 or something like that, and they were really nice. Really, really nice. Barbecue pizza there. LaBelle, Drag Idol, what time? I want to get my snacks so I can watch. It would be sometime between 8 and 9 at night. I'll see if I can arrange that tomorrow. I will try and do that. I can't promise, though, because I don't use my own mixing desk, and it just depends on the level of sound coming out on the desk that I need to use. I'll see if I can arrange that tomorrow. Okay, the whole Drag Idol thing. But Michael, barbecue meat lovers, ham and pineapple. He likes those ones as well, do you? Yes, lots of people like different pizzas. It depends who you are, doesn't it, what you like? Right, now do be careful if you're buying something from an auction. In the super soaraway sun this morning, verging on the ridiculous, a house hunter thought he'd snapped up a £140,000 bungalow for £7,200 in an... Oh, my microphone's fallen down. In an online auction, but it actually only bought a strip of grass. This bloke mistakenly bid on a 1 foot wide, 100 foot long grass verge running between 2 homes, thinking he was buying one of the houses. This is in Florida. Despite paying $9,100, that's about £7,200 in the auction, the measly piece of land in Tamarack, Florida, is worth just 40 quid, $50. To make matters worse, officials say he cannot get a refund. Oh dear. Mr. Holness believed he was scammed by the Florida county that put the property up for auction for unpaid property taxes in March. He asked Broward County to void the deal and return his money, but officials say state law does not allow for refunds. It's deception. There was no demarcation to show. It's just a line going through the villa. Even though they have the tools to show that, Mr. Holness told the Sun Sentinel. If I'm vindictive enough, I can cut right through the garage wall and the home to get to my airspace, but what use would that be to me? So be very, very careful if you ever buy things from auctions, and certainly from photographs. I know of a case on there's a mobile DJ group on Facebook, which I'm not on, incidentally. I used to be on there. Oh, that's full of people who think they really are very big. Full of self-important people. They love themselves on there. I couldn't bear it. People would ask questions like, how much do you charge for a gig or something like that? And people would, I don't go out for less than £500 because I'm fantastic and I'm really good and I'm worth it. No, I don't. And I thought, oh, what an arsehole you are. You know, they're so full of their own self-importance on there. I wouldn't bother, so I came off it. But nevertheless, there was one bloke on there who bought a audio mixer from eBay, and he paid the money, and he got through the post a picture, a photograph of the mixer. And when he went to the bloke talking over eBay, he said, what's this?
He says, why have you sent me a photograph of the mixer? He said, well, that's what you've bought. He said, no, you haven't bought. No, I haven't. I bought a mixer. And then I looked at the advert and it says, you are bidding for a picture of this mixer. Wow. So it was actually, but you wouldn't think that, would you? You wouldn't think if you saw a picture of an audio mixer, which is like a gadget, what you put all the sound together with, you wouldn't think you're buying a picture of it, would you? Even if it said, this is a picture of the mixer that you're buying. Do you see what I mean? So he spent, I don't know, a couple of £100 on a picture of a mixer. I don't know if he got his money back or not. Outrageous. So be very, very careful that things are worded correctly. You know. I mean, I've taken a bit of a risk myself buying a refurbished computer, which should be here sometime this week. But computers have got so incredibly expensive suddenly, and I don't know when that happened, but I expected to pay X amount, and it was like £300 dear. And I thought, blimey, how comes they've got so expensive suddenly? So be careful what you're bidding on there, gang. All right? What if you post it to YouTube? Oh, what should I post to YouTube? Oh, well, YouTube or Facebook Live doesn't really make any difference, LaBelle. Actually, no, if it goes on Facebook, I'll have to... I mean, it can start on Facebook. We usually get cut off on Facebook after a while because they don't quite have their copyright stuff set up the same as YouTube. YouTube are okay. That kind of works because they've got agreements all in place. I don't think Facebook have got those. But we'll start it off on both and eventually one will cut off. If I can get permission to do that tonight, then it will be ready for tomorrow. We'll see how we go. I don't know where I'll put the camera, though, because usually the camera's on a stand behind a table, and that position won't be free for me. I'll have to think about it tomorrow. I'll have to think about it tonight and see how we can do that. All right, for the drag idol tomorrow. Dr. SOS, every 6 months, computer technology gets an upgrade. Yes, it does, but they're not really getting much faster now. Have you noticed that? Computers don't really seem to be getting faster now. You remember we used to have the kind of doubling the speed every few months. That's not happening. I think computers have roughly stayed the same speed for some time now. On the other hand, they're quite fast enough. I mean, this is certainly fast enough for me to do live video. So they have moved on a long way, haven't they? Also in the sun this morning, now I did have a little flick across the channels today to the ITV breakfast programme. Nice to see Michael Barrymore on there. Michael Barrymore was being interviewed. Michael Barrymore, if you don't know, was a huge, huge television star at the top of his game. I think early 2000s, late 1990s, early 2000s. And he had this party at his house and people were invited and they found someone dead in his swimming pool. Now, he was addictive to drugs and alcohol. And I think it was probably someone, and everyone had got drunk or off their heads. Someone had fallen in the pool, and because everyone was off their heads, no one had noticed. That's my personal thoughts on what happened. But they tried to blame him, it was his fault, this, that, and the other. But he was cleared of all that. But ever since then, he lost his career over that, and he's been on the telly again this morning, and it's quite obvious he wants another go. And I think he should be given a go. I must say, when I was watching him this morning, he wasn't talking very... I was having trouble understanding what he was saying. It might have been me. It might have been me that was having trouble understanding what he was saying, but he wasn't quite coherent. Certainly wasn't drunk or anything like that. So whether or not the drugs and the drink have perhaps taken away a bit of his speech, I don't know. But I think he should have another go and another chance. I certainly never, ever believed he was anything to do with someone falling in that swimming pool. They just fell in and no one noticed. They were probably off their heads as well. I don't know. Either drunk or off their heads. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I don't know. But someone fell into the pool and no one noticed. Basically, that's what's happened. You can't blame anyone for that. It's just one of those things, isn't it? That's what I think. Anyway, in the sun this morning, Susanna Reid, she does the ITV show. I'm not a fan, really, of Susanna. Not really a fan on her. She was freaked out by a robot that looks like her and even speaks on Good Morning Britain this morning. The robot sported brunette hair and large brown eyes, just like Susanna, and was able to answer questions in a bizarre demonstration. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, dear. Excuse me, dear. Oh, my word. Now, the robot is called Ada. Ayda is the robot's name. She blinks and moves her head, and it's the world's first robot artist, and her creator, Aidan, stood by her side. Piers asked Ada to speak, and she obediently responded, "Good morning, Britain," and "Good morning, Piers and Susanna." He also asked the robot to repeat the words, "Piers, you are so right about everything," which she did. But Ada added, "Susanna, was that okay to say that?" Ada's jaw-dropping improvisation left the pair stunned, and Piers remarked, "Hold on, you're not supposed to have your own brain. I don't like this." And it goes on to say in there that Susanna Reid gets freaked out by a robot that looks like her and speaks on Good Morning Britain. Well, I found the video to this on the Facebook in the picture of the sun, and it shows the robot talking and saying those words. It doesn't look or sound anything like Susanna Reid. Did anyone see that? It doesn't look anything like her at all. So I don't know whether they print these stories sometimes, and that is fake, as the great Donald Trump would say. Fake news, fake news. I've got that here. Hang on a minute. I've got that here. It's fake news.
We are fighting the fake news.
Fake news.
It's fake. Phony. Fake.
Fake.
A few days ago, I called the fake news the enemy of the people, and they are. They are the enemy of the people. They're very dishonest people. That I called the fake news the enemy of the people. The fake news. And now I'm saying, oh, no, this is no good. But you are fake news.
Fake news.
But I am...
Fake news. There's Donny. Anyway, she don't look anything like Susanna Reid and all at all, so I don't know why they printed that there. Mr. SOS LaBelle, this is why I don't like shopping online. I love going to a shop and actually see and touch the stuff, especially with clothes. How anyone can buy clothes online without actually seeing them, I don't. Although this is an Amazon shirt. This come off Amazon. It was about 20 quid, I think. This one. So many people get disappointed in the service or the products they get online. In the stores, you get to see it, and if you don't like it, you don't buy it or find something that they do better. I have to say, when I've been to the States, wherever, whether it be Florida, New York, Boston, whenever I've been to the States, I'm very impressed by the service in the shops there. Really good. Not like the service in some of the shops here is abysmal, especially Curry's. Places like Curry's, you just feel that you're in there to buy something and nothing else. Whereas in America, they do appreciate you being in their shop. John Lewis is pretty good. I give him that. You know, but here we don't have the service in the shops like you do in the US. It's fantastic in the US. Dr. SOS Gregorian, there's no real need for 50 plus meg download speeds. There certainly isn't. I found that out. My 4G broadband down at the caravan is about 35 meg. It's perfectly all right. No buffering. Everything works fine. Don't be buying more than what you need, honestly. Paul and Lou used to love Strike It Lucky with those old-fashioned televisions and the arrows on. Do you remember those? Gosh, I remember those. Ian Days, I believe the same with you about Barrymore. I saw him once at a classic car show. I said hello to him. He seemed very nervous and the shadow of a man. Yes, Ian, actually, he came in. I was DJing at a place called Reflex in Putney. It's no longer there. And he came in. And I felt a bit sorry for him. I think he was on the television at this point, and he was surrounded by little boy hangers-on. You know the sort I mean, hangers-on. And they all surrounded him, and he was buying all the drinks. And I thought, that's incredibly awful. Just awful, seeing that going. All these hangers-on around Michael Barrymore. And he came over to me, funnily enough. He said, hello, I'm Michael. I said, hello. I know you are. I'm Chris. Pleased to meet you. What do you want? There's a record on. Then he asked for a record and I put it on for him. And I wanted to say to him, come away from those blooming kids over there. Come over here. I'll talk to you and I won't want anything off you. You see these hangers-on with stars and celebrities and people like that. And they're just awful. Parasites. They're not friends. They're parasites. And I've sometimes had these thoughts. I'd like to be someone that stars could come to and say, all right, Chris, I'm being followed by the papers. It's all right, come and stay at mine. You can have the spare room. I wouldn't want anything. I'd just like to help, you know? With perhaps alcohol addiction. I mean, I don't know how you would help someone with alcohol addiction. I've tried to help people with drug addictions before, but I've never given money. Never ever given money. I've sometimes, Chris, I'm really stuck at the moment. Can you? No, because you know where that money's going to go. You know where it's going to go. No, but if you need a lift somewhere, I'll give you a lift somewhere. I'll come and talk to you. But I will never, ever lend friends money. Never. You don't get it back. You never get it back, whether or not they're on drugs. My advice to you is never, ever lend a friend money. The closer they are to you, the less chance you've got of it coming back. The only people you give money to are family members, and then you do not expect it to come back. If it comes back, fine. But when they ask for it, if you decide to give it to them, which I would do, then don't expect it back. Don't expect it back. Never, ever lend anyone money. I'm sorry that sounds cruel and cold-hearted. I know that. But I've had experiences over the years where I've lent people money. No, don't come back. Never. It never comes back. Not sometimes it doesn't come back. It never, ever comes back. And then you start asking for it and you're made to feel, I'll give it back to you when I got it. I haven't got it. As they sit at the bar and buy themselves another bloody drink. No. Fake news. It's fake news. Fake news. Sky News is fake news, says Paul and Lou. CNN is fake news. Look, they see everyone don't believe the news anymore. None of us believe the news anymore, do we? We don't. We don't. Dreadful. All right, let's do today. Oh, we discovered yesterday, actually, that we can no longer do birthdays that are not on the same day. Let me just see if they've changed that back again or not. Yesterday, we couldn't do, because yesterday, we did a show yesterday, but they're there again. Nope, they're there. They've come back. Okay, fair enough. So we did a show yesterday, of course, Sunday, but we didn't do a show Saturday. And usually, if I do a show and I've missed one out, then I'll go back a day on the Facebook and get the birthdays from the day before. Yesterday, we couldn't do that for some reason. It just was today's birthday and then upcoming. The previous ones were missing, so obviously something had gone wrong there, but that's working now, so we can go back. That is good news, isn't it? Let's just read those messages before I go to the birthdays. LaBelle, well, as a person who works in retail, we want your business and be happy with what you get, especially if we know it's worth your money. You purchases pay our wages. You see, that's the right attitude to take. What do you sell, LaBelle? You may have told me before. Are you in like somewhere like, I imagine you being in somewhere like the perfume or the shoe section in Macy's or somewhere like that. I bet it's nothing like that, is it? What is it you sell, LaBelle? What shop are you in? We're all going to turn up one day. We're all going to turn up at your shop. Paul and Lou wants to hear the fake news thing again. Oh, all right then, hang on a minute. Let me get that up. Here
We are fighting the fake news. It's fake, phony, fake. A few days ago, I called the fake news the enemy of the people, and they are. They are the enemy of the people. They're very dishonest people that I called the fake news the enemy of the people, the fake news. And now I'm saying, oh, no, this is no good. But you are fake news. But I am only against the fake news media or press. Fake.
It's all fake. It's all fake. Hello to Matthew Van. Good morning, Matthew. Welcome to the show. We're not here much longer, mate. I'm going to be finishing soon. You'll have to catch the replay afterwards, okay? Hello to Victory for Cake. That's a good name on the Vaughan Live there. Welcome to you. Okay, birthday time, boys and girls. Today's birthday, that's Monday the 17th of June 2019. Happy birthday to Mr. James Alexander Hyde's a very, very good friend of mine, and he works with one of the people who is a drag superstar, Charlie Hides. You may also have seen her on RuPaul's Drag. I'm so sorry, I can't remember the title of that now. You see, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of RuPaul's Drag Act. RuPaul's Drag Act. Was that it called? Race, that's it. RuPaul's Drag Race. He was on RuPaul's Drag Race. Happy birthday to you, James. All right. Sorry, not him, his other half. Happy birthday, James. Dr. SOS Gregorian, who is with us today. Happy birthday to you. Now, Mr. Gregorian is raising money for the Armenia Fund. Okay, so if you want to donate to that, just go through my friends list, type in Dr. SOS, that's one word, DrSOS, space Gregorian. GRIGORIAN, Dr. SOS Gregorian, and you'll find his donate program button on there, okay? Happy birthday to Mr. Gregorian. Nice to see you, love. Jonathon Sands. Good morning, Jonathon. Happy birthday to you on this Monday morning. Tom Byford, good morning, 27 today, raising money for the LGBT plus helpline. Miles Chandler, good morning, Miles. Morning, he works for British Airways. Oh, you used to work for British Airways, didn't you? I hope I've got that right. 49. God, how did that happen? 49 years old. Happy birthday, Miles. Him and I think alike on many things I've come to realise. I never knew it. I knew him when he was about 20 years old. Happy birthday to Gabriel Galhego, 29 today. Happy birthday. Andy Musson. Morning, Andy. Happy birthday to you. A big fan on camp music, aren't you, Andy? Happy birthday to you. Calum Howell. Good morning, Calum. Happy birthday to you. Ebbonknee Zealy. Happy birthday to you. Kirk Frew. It's their birthday today. And finally, Fernando Caesar Knox is a young 45 years old today. Happy birthday to you, boys and girls. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Enjoy your birthday on this Monday. The bell works in Abracadabra NYC. I'm going to look that up. I'm going to have a look at that online. There's probably an online presence there somewhere. I shall look that up and see what you're selling there. Okay. All right, that's it for the show today. Now, what are you doing tonight? Are you in North London? Because if you are, you can come down to this. I shall be hosting our usual karaoke, our Monday night delightful singing. The Monday karaoke is tonight, 7:30 at Central Station Bar, 37 Wharfdale Road in King's Cross, London, N1 9ST. That's where the karaoke is tonight. Cheap drinks as well, all right? There we are. Karaoke tonight, 7:30 at Central Station Bar. Thank you very much. That's it for the show today. Have a lovely day, and hopefully I'll see you again at some time tomorrow. Cheerio now.